Don't get your feelings hurt. Read this.
Welcome back to Payman's Void. It's time for another episode of Short Film Roundup.
What was that? Short film roundup? Short film roundup?
Oh, we're rolling? That
Yeah.
was a take?
That was a take.
Do I have to do it again?
Nope.
No.
Short film roundup.
Great, Short Film Roundup.
What is this?
This is the place where three cursed filmmakers analyze short films and help the entire filmmaking world become better storytellers.
The entire filmmaking
whole thing?
world.
Yes, anyone. If you're in the filmmaking world, I don't care if you're freaking James Cameron. In fact, if you're George Lucas, you could maybe use the help, right? You know, because we're smart.
What he's trying to say is that Late Up Battle Angels sucked.
What do you mean by curse?
George Lucas had nothing to do with that. Oh, do we need to go over?
Oh, wait, no,
the
we have
lore
an intro that
some more?
explains it.
Yeah, go
Yeah.
back and read our opening
Yeah,
credits.
look
we
at that.
we were cursed by a red guy.
Yeah, don't get your feelings hurt. Read this.
Don't
Yeah,
get your
that-
feel. Anyway, we're becoming very self-referential right now.
This is meta. What is this? Marvel film?
Yes,
Did they
this
do that in that?
is okay. So if you've already seen our announcement video, you know what film we're covering today. It is The Guard by Mark Battle.
There you
Mark
go.
Battle. Repeat,
The Guard.
Repeat offender. Mark
Yes.
Battle.
Not
He-
by, but directed and
He
written.
sent us Here Lies Joe.
Which we liked quite a bit.
It was a very
Yeah.
cool movie. Very well done.
Yeah.
So we'll be analyzing it, see what we can learn from it. Hopefully you've already seen it because we had our announcement video last week saying all the movies. This coming Friday, we're going to do that again. We're going to announce the 3 movies coming up next. Stay ahead of the game so you could just be here ready to go with your pad of paper and your pencil, like in your ear here, and an apple for the teacher.
That's right.
Wait,
And
All of that.
school?
this is school.
This is school. Yeah.
I don't want to be a part of
It's
this.
time to do your homework,
Yeah.
Taylor.
Yeah. We're going to
I'm out.
assign assignments.
Math.
Out.
Give you grades.
So if you haven't by chance, unfortunately, you haven't seen this film, there's a link in the description, so go watch it real quick if you haven't seen it, but you should have done that already, so bah!
Also,
Go
if
watch
you're-
it now and come back, and then we'll do the thing.
Also-
roll the theater. Shit, sorry.
Guys, that's not the
God.
That's
Go
the
ahead.
wrong episode.
What are you going to want to say?
There's too much going on here. If you're a filmmaker and you want to have us analyze your film, there's a submission form in our description.
I'm bumping the camera, dude. Okay, we're good. Good. Go ahead, D. The floor is yours. We're good. The floor is yours.
All right. We have,
You are on. Go.
yes. If you're a filmmaker and you want us to analyze your film the way we have been for these other films, what is so?
Floor is yours. Floor is yours. I don't care
Okay,
anymore.
I'm fine. All right, D has the floor. I'm fine.
If you happen to be a filmmaker,
If you happen to be a filmmaker, of course they're filmmakers. Our whole audience is filmmakers. Try again.
D, the floor is yours.
I'm just going to take the floor. Hope you don't mind.
no.
You can submit your movie to this.
We'll analyze films here. If you have made a film, you can
Yes.
submit your film to us, and we'll analyze it like we have in the past with others.
Thank you. And in most episodes, we don't have hysterical laughing fits.
For no reason.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow.
So there's a link in the
good.
there's a link
Good.
in the description to do that. There's a little form you can fill out. Send your film our way, and we'll get it done. As for today, let's talk about not Here Lies Joe.
Oops.
The guard.
The Guard by Mark Battle. Kenny,
Yes.
get us started on what we can learn
Okay.
from The Guard.
So, this is very much a character movie. You know, it's a character piece. We're centered on this main guy the whole time, who's a security guard, and his fear.
I just got that.
Yep, there you go.
He's a security guard.
His fear of committing violent acts against his family. And if your intent is to get an audience to buy into that hysteria and go there with you and jump on the crazy train, boy, did Mark Battle choose a good way to get us there in a hurry. This opening scene worked so well. I couldn't believe. I've seen insane crap in movies, okay, before, and yet this really got me. When he put that baby in the oven.
Yeah.
And you started hearing it scream in the oven.
Yeah, that's serious,
Like
man.
all of us were like going, oh, oh, oh. And and from then on, the tone was set. I'm just like, holy cow, this guy's got a problem, right?
Yeah.
And I was concerned. I wanted him to solve his problem.
Yeah.
To me, the first lesson to learn from this film is to he immersed the audience in the emotional tone that he wanted to set throughout the rest of the movie.
Absolutely.
And it was extremely effective.
Yeah. Yeah. As you said, when we talk about the problem that he faces, that we then go to seek to fix.
Yeah.
This is the basic setup
We
and
start
payoff.
the arc right away.
Yeah, exactly. So
And immediately we know what this movie's about.
immediately.
And I love that so much.
Yeah.
And we understand why he's so afraid of himself.
Yes.
You know, we understand that in his mind he is going to these extreme places, and why that's troubling him so much. So that way, when he does take some extreme measures in the film, it all makes sense.
Right.
And you follow and you're in on it, and you're like, yes, you should be doing this.
Exactly.
Kind of a thing.
And he's afraid of it too.
Yeah.
The fact that that's the first part where his wife comes behind him, puts her hand on him, and he jumps, like that tells us right there, oh, he wants to be away from this action. That's not him. That's his psyche.
Yeah.
You know. That's really interesting.
Yep.
That's it.
Cool. Good episode.
Good episode, guys.
I think there's a lot to be said here about cinematography and lighting and locations. In fact, most of this movie works really, really well.
Yeah. I thought it all worked very well. There was a scene later on in the middle of the film about when he's having dinner with his wife, and she's like, yeah, this scene here. She's like, where are the knives and all that? And I liked that we never saw them in the same frame except for that big wide. And I liked how it's kind of what is that called? Negative space?
Yeah.
In this coverage right here.
Yeah.
It jams a wedge between them.
Yeah. It's
And-
less intimate.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
far less intimate, and you can feel that they're not on the same page at all.
Yeah.
That he's not letting her in on what he's feeling. And there's another alternate angle in this setup where it's profile shots of both of them at the beginning of the scene, right there. That I think achieves the same kind of like head-to-head, like they're at odds
Yeah.
sort of emotion,
I would-
rather than just over the shoulder.
I would absolutely agree with you. Yeah, over the shoulder would give us a more intimate shot.
Yeah.
These are not intimate shots.
Yes.
Which is what we're trying to do here, which I believe what Mark is trying to do. And that's great. That's freaking great. Hey, one of the things also that doesn't have to do too much with cinematography, but with mise en scene, are
Speak
the
French?
Now
The-
we're film history.
the lamps in here are practical lights that exist, I think, for a reason. Like they look like they replaced there. They're I don't know what it is, what it's called exactly, but when you're doing this cinematography where you have a light in the background that acts as a high point of light, like there's more light in the background than there is in the foreground. I forgot what it's called, but it's there for a reason.
Cool.
Very insightful, D.
I know.
Thanks, D.
I learned that.
Nice.
Yes.
I think another thing that really helps here is that the filmmaker took some time to give us a little bit of character development. Things that I think would be easy to miss, easy to skip if you were trying to write this story, trying to put it on screen. It'd be very easy to go from the stove moment to the priest or to the knives dumping, because that's the story beats, right? This happens and then this happens and this happens. But he chose to, in between that, to give us this scene where he's gotten out of the shower, he's looking at himself in the mirror, he looks tired. We see that he's suiting up into a security guard's outfit. So we get a sense that, okay, he's not like a super high-earning guy. He's a hard-working, sort of blue-collar guy. We know that he's a security guard. We can tell that he's exhausted. And now we're a little bit more connected to this character. To me, even the fact that he's wearing a shirt
With
that
fake
has a
buttons.
zipper
Yeah.
and fake buttons
Yeah.
says something about the character
Yeah, it does.
to me. It's like even he's going into a job where his authority is superficial.
Yeah.
Right? So all of that builds a picture of who this person is and allows us to relate and build empathy with, you know.
Yeah.
If we had just cut to here, then he's just a cop in a church.
Right.
So that little scenes like that do so much.
Absolutely. I want to talk about the lighting real quick. Just real quick.
Sure.
The I feel like the lighting they used available light, not too much placement lighting. This is something specifically for people who learn filmmaking in film school. There's a lot of times where you can learn a technique and you figure out that must be the technique that everyone uses for everything all the time. It's not really what you say in the forefront of your mind, but it's what you think about when you're on set, right? When you're on set, you're thinking, I want a 3-point light system. That's what a lot of people think. With that being said, you know, you're not even using a 3-point light system here. You're probably not even using 2, maybe even not even 1. It looks like we're using window light.
Kind of like, yeah,
You know?
that's what I was going to say. It looks like window light.
And I think there's a reason for this. And I think most of the film uses available light to emphasize that everything is very grounded, to emphasize how real all of this is.
Yeah, well, it also it gives it adds. If this bathroom was like super lit up,
Yeah.
that would give the sense of it being a higher tier bathroom.
Yeah.
Like a nicer bathroom.
Right. Right.
A
Exactly.
more grandiose space.
Exactly.
But it's a little dark. and
Light coming
gray,
through
you know?
a window that's normal people.
Yeah.
Right. That's everyday Joe.
Yeah.
You know, so that it develops the character.
The fact that he almost blends into the background here, also, I think, an aesthetic choice that's great for his character,
I thought that shot looked so cool.
for the tone piece. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
great.
One thing, to your point about the light, this is one thing that I actually really appreciate about you, Devon Keys,
Me?
the man, is that before we were stuck in the void, we used to go shoot a lot of things in real places with other people around and stuff. And
I remember that, yeah.
how often Taylor and I would be like, okay, let's bring the ring light, let's bring this light, let's bring that light. And then we get there and we're like, let's set up the lights. We should put one here. And then you just go, you know what? This is actually pretty good. We should use this. And it's just funny to me that the DP, right, who also has been to film school, is often the one who's saying, you know, we don't need to
Don't need those.
don't
Yeah.
need to do
Yeah.
that because those lights say something
Right.
that may not be what we want to say.
Right.
It's really important.
Yeah, I would say so. I'd say that is it's in purpose. You know, a lot of these things are about the purpose of the film.
I was so disappointed in that priest.
There's so many good things here. Let's talk about that scene real quick.
To me, the priest, I just feel like any good priest would see this guy and be like, go get help. You need a therapist. You need a psychiatrist. You need to see a doctor. He's just like, yep, sounds like you're on the edge of sin. Go do some Hail Marys.
Yeah. So what that told me
Get
is that
some rest.
yeah,
You'll
is
be
that
fine?
what that told me is that this guy is alone in his problem, right? No
Yeah.
one, that people don't understand him.
Absolutely.
And I love that the script is that nailed, you know,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and that detailed.
Yeah, that is a big thing. Every single scene in this film feels like it needs to be in this movie.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like I wouldn't take a single scene out.
Right.
Yeah.
It would almost fall apart if any of the scenes were taken out.
That's
yeah.
awesome.
Another good another little lesson learned I think we can all glean from this is how to appropriately use drones. So
Yes.
filmmakers, especially new filmmakers, are just horny for drones. right?
Absolutely.
I mean, we've seen so many films where we have unnecessary drone footage. And the reason it's there is because they have a drone.
Because they got it.
Yeah.
They're like, I have a drone. Let's write a drone shot, and you don't need the drone shot, right? So this was a drone shot that made sense, right? It really gave him this feeling of being completely isolated, alone, vulnerable. He's in the freaking fetal position here,
Yeah.
which,
In the
by the
middle of a
way,
lake.
he's Go back. He is in the fetal position. He's in a canoe, which is like vaginal shape. He's surrounded by water, right? So, I mean, you take that as deep as you want.
Yeah.
I think that's awesome.
Yeah.
But it gives this sense of isolation. And the drone is stabilized.
It's not even moving.
It is high enough to where it's not rippling the water, which I see all the time.
Yeah.
And there's no reflection
Yeah.
in the water,
Yeah.
which I see all the time.
People who shot this were paying attention. That's the point.
Yeah,
You
so
know?
it's here and then it's one other time.
In the forest.
And that was, again, it's something that it had a purpose. The forest shot gave us the sense of where he is going to be extremely isolated and alone. He's going to a very far extreme to distance himself.
Right.
Right.
And just using a drone to get a static shot.
Yeah.
Like, no one does that.
No one does that.
Yeah, you don't
That's
have to be
great.
flying.
Yeah.
Right? Like, not every story requires the sensation of soaring.
So I'm gonna do a little bit of our opinion kind of thing here.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Ugh. Opinions.
I hate it. I hate the word cinematic. I hate that word.
What, you hate movies?
I hate it when people utilize it in this fashion. They say, make your shots more cinematic. Mm-hmm. What they supposed to mean by that is make your shots feel like they belong in the movie, or in cinemas. But without emotional attachment, they mean nothing. And what they usually mean by making your shots more cinematic is either adding letterbox to your shot, or
Lens flare?
or making it move, making a dolly shot or
Yeah.
a slider shot.
Yeah. Or have a shallow depth of field.
Yeah. We've talked about this so many times before, but the movements of your shots matter and they say something about your film.
They convey intention.
And-
Whether you intend it or not, everything you do says something.
Says something about your film. And this part just makes me feel so good for the people making this film, is that they can create a shot that's utilizing a drone, and they don't have to give in to it has to move. You know, it's just that high point shot because that's all they need.
Yeah.
And
And it's using a tool also that has become like a shot. It's using a tool that's made that kind of shot available to the average filmmaker
Exactly.
in a way that is not so obvious,
Yeah.
in a way that's creative.
Yeah.
And
It's
actually
even creative.
fully taking advantage of the potential of the technology.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's something I think we can all learn from this kind of stuff, is that, you know, you want to make sure that you're doing things for a reason. I feel like that's a oversaid thing, but I feel like it's very
So-
important.
I have a concept I'd like to discuss. I don't know if I can synthesize it into something we can learn yet, but I think if we talk about it, maybe we could get there.
Sure.
So, I feel like this film, the ending of the arc is not conclusive. It's very open-ended.
Yeah,
Right? And yet I feel extremely satisfied
absolutely.
with the ending.
Yeah.
He doesn't overcome his problem. If anything, he's completely given into it. But how would you guys define why an arc like that works? When we describe like the typical story arc, its character is going to go from point A to B.
Yeah.
And usually that means accomplishing some end, and then the obstacles between A and B make up your story.
Yes.
Well, I wonder if he does go. Would you say that he does go from a point A to point B?
I do, yeah. It's just the point B is something
Is
very
worse.
Yeah, that's right.
And so maybe that's what it is. Is your point A and point B. Point B doesn't have to be a better state.
Right.
Right.
Just as long as there is a point B.
Nor
Yeah.
does point B necessarily have to answer anything.
Yeah.
None of the questions were answered. We don't know if she has the baby. We don't know if he's ever found, right? It's just the conclusion is that he has spiraled out of control.
Yeah.
So I want
He didn't get the help, and he spiraled out of control.
Yes,
That's the story.
Yeah, I want to say if it's between point A and point B, that point B contextualizes the story, is what I want to say.
Yes. Yes.
And so this story was about, like you said, a guy regressing, into his problem, going more into it. And point B was him just lost completely into his problem, where so much that he is now, effectively committing suicide. I think that's definitely contextualizes everything. He went so mad that he is now at this point.
That he's missing the birth of his child.
Right.
Which was ironically the number one goal.
Yeah.
He always, his protection of his child went so far that he's detached from his child.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was just interesting to me because when the film ended, my gut reaction just immediately off the bat was, oh, it didn't really have an ending. It didn't really end. And then it sort of kind of dawned on me like, well, that's a good ending.
Yeah. It's a brutal ending.
It is brutal. Yeah. There's
brutal beginning, brutal ending.
Yeah.
I want to say if you want to take your audience, like as a filmmaker, if you want to take your audience onto this like kind of really brutal nature, I think one of the best things to do is to build up empathy with them, really build into a character, and then just take it away from them, and don't let them have the salvation of seeing where that character ends or seeing what happens to that character. That really leaves a dis-ease in people, but you have to care about it in the first place. And in here, I think that really, really worked.
Isn't that what we're attempting with our upcoming short film, Nihilum? That comes out on Friday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, isn't this on Friday? Isn't today Friday?
Comes out today. Out today. Click here to watch that movie. Bam.
Thank you to Payman for providing us with the set and
Yes.
we had plenty of time, but
Yeah.
the location and
All right.
it was fun.
It was fun.
Nice. So it changed things
yeah.
up, changed up the
Yeah.
routine a little.
Yeah, we should do that more often.
Yeah,
Definitely.
agreed. Back to this film though.
Sure.
Another thing I really appreciated, we all agreed that off and on throughout the film, the sound mix and quality kind of was here or there, wasn't always great.
Mm-hmm.
But this scene where he's struggling against this tree, we have feet scratching in the dirt, we have him breathing, we have him rubbing against bark, we have the phone noises, which all had to be Foleyed. I mean, you can't make this scene work any other way.
Right.
And they did it very well.
Really, really well. Yeah. We don't talk about Foley a ton on this show. And Foley, like when you have, 10 different sounds in here, okay? Let's just say it within this scene right here. Just name the sounds that we hear, okay?
Phone,
Handcuffs,
dirt.
tree bark. So
Dirt.
you have the handcuffs against tree. You have his clothing against tree. You have
Breathing.
his shoes on the ground. You have his breathing.
Yeah.
At least.
Yeah. So those are each, in Foley, those are each recorded separately and then applied after the film.
Mixed together.
Yeah. And, you may think that these things, that you can get them on set, and sometimes you can, but the thing is, like, you want to create this kind of proper mix so that in the end, you're really focusing on the things that you want to focus on.
Right. It's about putting the person as close to being in this guy's shoes as
Right.
possible.
On set,
Now-
sorry to cut you
Yeah.
off. On set, you couldn't have captured all that sound and the buttons being clicked. Sorry, and the buttons being clicked, and have the buttons stand out from everything.
Yeah.
Right. If
Yeah.
you're going to get all these sounds, you're also going to get all the sounds
Right.
of nature and the trees
Right.
and the crickets.
And so if you
whatever
get them
else is
separately,
going on.
you can boost those buttons, make everything down, so it feels natural, but it also feels like you're being drawn in at the same time.
But again, it also comes down to the intent of the story you're trying to tell.
Absolutely.
And in this one, we're very much in the shoes of the character, and we're like I said, we're hopping on the crazy train with him.
Yeah.
So in that sense, we need to be as close to his experience as possible Hence, these sounds all have to be Foleyed so we feel like we're right there.
Exactly.
If it was more of like an observer type thing,
Yeah.
then it might make sense to have a recording of the whole soundscape.
Yeah. Yeah, it would. Yeah. Yeah, I would say so. Yeah, this is Oh, I wanted to point this out. This was awesome. I want to say that this is part of lazy filmmaking, not this shot, but what I'm about to say. This shot is at night, and it has a lamp in the background. This is obviously what would happen if he was actually there building something. And then we have the next shot that's at daytime and morning light. And you can see that things have been shuffled around a bit once we get to the wide.
And it's 6:20 a.m.
Yeah, the light's off. The window is different. He looks different. These are two shots that are side by side that the filmmaker could have just shot right then and there. Just said, okay, now it's morning time, and so now we'll just change things up a little bit. I feel like lazy filmmakers don't put enough detail into the shots to where they feel real. This one feels real because not only are they using real window light, they actually waited for daytime to come.
Yeah.
But they turned off the light. They added a pencil in his ear. His hair's all messed up. He's been up for a long time.
And we talked about that just in the last film we covered
Yeah.
with regards to passage of time. The only way you can tell time has passed is by change.
Right.
Right? If you don't change anything, or if you don't change enough, then it feels like something sort of uncanny had just happened, like
Right.
your wardrobe just changed.
Well,
right?
For example, the beginning shot where he puts the baby in the oven. That's so funny that I can say that. That's just
Puts the
weird.
baby in
it's
the
a
oven.
sentence. When he puts the baby in the oven.
It's the new normal.
That shot barely changed when we get to the wife tapping him on the shoulder. It looks like the same exact shot.
Right. But I think that's intentional.
Right. Well,
Because-
and that's the point.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Anyway. Yeah.
Precisely. It's also worth noting the vital importance, especially in a film like this, to really nail your casting. Strong performances
All around.
from
yeah.
your lead guy, but also the actress playing the wife.
Yeah. Or the other security guard.
The other security guard was great. I mean, very good
Believable.
casting.
You know.
That guy's totally believable as being the other security guard.
Absolutely.
Who's pissed off that the guy's going to try to get OT.
Yeah.
He totally looks like that guy.
Totally.
So your casting is great.
Yeah. I mean, you could see, film students who would have their friends play the parts, and they're like, yeah, just say these lines. It's fine. It's just a minor part.
Yeah.
It's like that takes you out of the film.
Yeah. So a couple episodes ago, we covered a film called Siren Song.
Yeah.
Resident Evil fan film.
And one of our big problems with the movie had to do with the cast and the acting, and it just not gelling in terms of performance. And then we come to find out in the comment that you can go read under that episode that it was largely casted out of a collection of cosplay friends.
Yeah.
Right.
Not
Not actors.
Right.
right? That's going to make a huge difference.
Yeah.
No matter what.
Absolutely.
That's like one of those areas you just cannot you can't half-ass.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Anything else? Shall we move to questions?
That about covers everything. Oh, when they're doing the crib assembly, he snuck in this shot that was sideways.
Right there.
That one. Yeah.
This one.
Keep going. That one.
That's not a sideways shot.
He's sideways.
He's sideways. Yeah.
Yes. I thought that was really, really cool
That he
to
was
have
sideways?
him on his side that way, because because we jump from him sideways to straight up like that. It really, the way these shots are all edited together, it really makes me feel like I'm trying to assemble something.
Well, that's the position of the actor. I'm not sure if that's shot choice, is it?
Well, they would have chosen to put the actor that way, so yeah.
Yeah.
My point is that it's not so much this shot, it's that we jump from a screwdriver going this way to him being this way, and the screwdriver going that way to him being vertical, And for a quick little montage of him putting something together,
effective.
that is one of those little touches that just really adds quality.
I'd say so too. Yeah, definitely.
Question time.
Someone else go first. I don't have any.
This is the portion of the show where we direct some questions directly to the filmmaker, Mark Battle. So we're going to do that now. It's one of our favorite things to do because usually filmmakers will respond with comments underneath the episode, or last movie Mark submitted, he responded with a cool video.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that was
Yeah.
sweet.
Which was
That was
rad. Maybe
really
you'll
cool.
do that again, Mark.
That was awesome.
But it's really fun, and you guys can all participate in that as well. Check out Mark's responses, but also add your questions, and feel free to chime in on anything that we're missing here that you picked up on.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I'll go ahead and start.
Cool.
Mark, so the comment that we made before about using available light demands a camera that can handle that. I feel like a lot of filmmakers choose big cameras that can handle a lot of stuff just because they like image quality. This, I think, actually was camera selection for your story. Well, I may be wrong, but that's what it felt like. So, with all genuineness, what camera did you use? we laugh at that kind
What
of
a
question. all
noob
the time.
question.
Yeah, because
Only dorks ask what
people-
kind of camera you
people
use.
have silly stuff. Anyway, but yeah, I do genuinely want to know
Yeah,
what kind
yeah,
of camera
yeah.
you use because the available light looks.
Now, whenever
lot.
that is my question every time I see good low light footage. I'm just like, oh,
A7S2.
how'd you do that?
Like this shot can't be done with the cameras that we have
For now.
for now.
Hey.
Wait till Payman lets us use something a little nicer.
Yes. I also want to know. Well, I'll let you guys ask the question that I was going to ask.
Oh, I don't know what you're gonna ask.
Yes, you do. Go ahead.
Okay. My question is about the subject matter and why you wanted to tell this particular story. Your last film
That was it?
was also on, a form of mental illness. We were dealing with suicide, right? And here, this is a very real condition. I've seen a program talking all about it. People that have a severe, unfounded fear about committing violent acts against other people. It's a real thing. Why were you drawn to make a story about it, and why such a bleak one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah, I mean, actually, Here Lies Joe sort of left, it was ambiguous, but it did leave the door open for hope.
Yeah. This one opposite.
This
Yeah.
is it's very bleak.
It's kind of funny. This one's not about suicide, and yet way more bleak than the other one about suicide.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
I like that.
And
Yeah,
I'll
that's
add
cool.
to that, I tend to get kind of lost, especially on the screenwriting side, but even into the production post on a movie, get lost into the subject matter. And a movie like this can really grind on you, right?
Yeah.
It can sort of put you in a different state. And I'm wondering if you're immune to that, or if dealing with such a heavy subject matter has any kind of effect on you outside of your filmmaking life.
Who are your filmmaking who are your filmmakers?
Ask
Blech.
your filmmaker's ass.
Who's your favorite filmmaker's ass?
I like David Lynch's.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude,
Yeah.
he's
Darren
got a
Aronofsky
great
for me.
ass.
Yeah.
Aronofsky's got a great ass too. What I'm trying to say is, who are your inspirations in filmmaking? Who are your favorite directors? Who do you take inspiration from? What films do you like? And is drama kind of your wheelhouse of genre, or do you just kind of make whatever you feel like making? Does this come naturally to you, I guess?
I want to. I also wanted to say that the cinematography here is very, very effective. I just want to talk about this real quick. This isn't exactly to our filmmaker, but cinematography. There's a lot of people who look at films with very artsy cinematography and will say, "I loved the cinematography; it was so good." When it's mainly just unique, And that's cool. I like unique cinematography. We talk about Tube a lot that has very unique cinematography. It was used for storytelling more than others, but anyway, this film doesn't have very artsy cinematography, but it has very, very, very effective cinematography. And I want to say that is the best kind of cinematography for storytelling. And I thought it was very effective. Very good.
Agree. Hard agree.
Yep.
All right. I think that concludes this episode then.
It do.
All right. You guys at home, you can submit your film to Short Film Roundup so we could do the same thing to your babies.
Wow.
Can I do that?
Wait,
Put their
not
babies
put them
in
in the
the
oven,
oven?
but what I meant, your movie.
Put your movies in the oven.
Put your
Send
movies in the
us-
oven, right?
Just click the link below. There's a Google form where you can fill it out and you can submit your movie to us, and we'll
Put it in the oven.
Put it in the
analyze it here on
the
Short
oven.
Film Roundup here in Payman's Void. And until next time, go have fun making movies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do we do here?
When the episode ends,
Yeah.
I always feel so awkward about
Yeah, it's
that.
just really weird.
It
I don't.
ends
I'm not
and
sure if I like hanging around you guys. Like,
I
after.
don't at all.
Yeah,
Not at all.
it's just weird. Unless we're making a film, that's
yeah.
cool. But,
That's, I don't want anything to do with you guys
Yeah.
outside of this stuff.
me neither, actually.
That's why I always just run that way.
I really like you guys.
I don't like you
We're not even
as a person.
Yeah. We're colleagues. If you can say that.
Do you ever have like a fear that you might do something really violent to people you
It's not a fear for me. Oh.